some of the experiences directly from him. So Viki, thank you for being here, and the screen is yours.
Thank you, Emma, for this nice introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be with you today. In this lecture, I would like to introduce my almost more than 50 years meetings with Himalaya. Himalaya is absolutely the highest mountain range in the world. Nowhere, in no any other mountain range, mountains don't grow more than 8,000 meter high, and that's why Himalaya is really interesting mountain range for, let's say, adventures and especially for climbers. It's around 15 to 20 million year old, and it's relatively young, and they still grow. And I'm very glad that I climbed these mountains years ago and was some millimeter lower. This picture is a little bit new one, not 15 million years ago made it, but in the middle of 60s, when I start with climbs in Slovenian or Ljubljana climbing garden near Ljubljana in a place called Šmarna Gora and Garmada. And in the bottom of these small hills, we have some rocks 10, 20 meter high. And just because of curiosity, I started to climb in sixth grade of my primary school. And in the same time, I started to read a lot of especially mountain books. And I was quite surprised when I saw from books that Šmarna Gora is not the highest mountain in the world. Even in Slovenia, we have some bigger mountains. It means Triglav. And of course, in Europe, also mountains grow almost to 5,000 meter. But I was totally shocked when I saw that on this altitude, Himalayan mountains just start. In this crazy young head, in puberty, when you don't know who you are and what you wish to be, I got strong feeling that it will be nice that I just once in my life I could see, let's say, Himalayas with own eyes. This was in the middle of 60s, so many times ago, quite a courage wish, because at that time, traveling from Slovenia to neighbor Austria or Italy was quite a big achievement, and especially, let's say, to the other continent. This is like traveling to the other planet. But after 10 years of really hard mountain life, I got the chance to see Himalayas on the best way, what is possible. What it means that I will start to be the youngest member of sixth Yugoslav Himalayan expedition. Slovenia was at that time a part of Yugoslavia, which goal was that we wish to climb first Slovenian 8,000. This is Makalu, the fifth, the highest mountain in the world. And we wish to climb not the normal route to the summit, but we wish to climb a new route in a steep south face. At that time, as the youngest climber in the team, I didn't even think about the summit. My biggest wish was that legendary leader of the expedition, Aleš Kunaver, will be satisfied with my job. And probably this kind of thinking was the right one, because after 1 month of very serious, difficult climb, I reached the summit of Makalu. 7 members on that expedition reached the summit. And of course, this was, as I must repeat once again, this was first Yugoslav, of course, and also Slovenian 8,000er, and we make a new route to the summit. And this was crucial for my further career. I was very glad that I reached the summit, even much more glad when I reached the bottom of the face, because when we reach the summit, we are our goal is finished, but the way down is even more important than climbing up. No? Anyway, after this successful climb, we start with descent, and when we walk down, I was sure that I'm number one now because I know everything about Himalayas and blah blah blah. And I was 23, and of course I couldn't be more wrong, yeah, because my three next Himalayan expedition was unsuccessful for me. On next, I got serious frostbites, and the next serious damaging of my back. And another one, two of my fellow climbers, friends, died on this expedition. And after one successful expedition to Himalaya and three unsuccessful for me, I slowly start thinking probably now I know a little bit about the Himalayas. Uh, 4 years after Makalu, we wished to climb Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world. And as I said in our job, it's the most important that you make or create something new in these Himalayas mountains. It means some new routes, and that's why we start to prepare to climb west ridge of Everest, very exposed problem on the highest mountain in the world. Few expeditions tried to climb this ridge, but didn't successful. Uh, like in the way to Makalu bottom, we walk this approach much. We need around 18 days. Quite the same was when we walked to the bottom of Everest. I recognize that even we are very good climbers, we couldn't start climbing if we haven't these local people who carry all this our luggage, equipment, food, and that etc. to the bottom of the face. Ne? And this on these first two expedition, I start my let's say. I like these people, no? And we start to make, after every expedition, stronger connection with Nepali people. Why is Nepal so important, or for me, I could say probably the most beautiful country in the world, immediately after Slovenia, of course, uh, because you could travel through all passes. Let's say expedition start in the Terai area, few hundred meters above the sea level, where it's quite hot. You could buy bananas and so on. And after a few days, you reach the altitudes around 4,000 meters, where it's snow is nothing usual. And at the end, when you come to the base camp, let's say in the bottom of the face, altitude is 5,350 below Everest. What it means that we start climbing, or we establish our camp 500 meters higher than, let's say, Mont Blanc, the highest European mountain. Immediately after arrival, we start to prepare this new route. Quite difficult was reach the beginning of our west ridge, and after that, of course, we continue directly to the summit. This was almost like a military operation. It was 25 members and around 20 Sherpas. They help us, and we work quite hard on this reach, because difficulties are higher than sometimes than you expect, and especially then lower temperatures and other problems. And after 1 month of serious climb, Everest on the right was quite close, but we need more than 14 days more that we reach the highest point in the world. By coincidence, my friend Marian Manfreda and me, we established Camp 5 in altitude around 8,200 meters, and we have a first chance to probably reach the summit, but quite difficult climb about the last camp. they make us very, very slow for, let's say, 40 meters of difficult climb, grade 5. We need 3 or 4 hours. And when we climb and put the rope on this difficult area, we saw that it's too late to the summit. We went back to camp, and we hope that next day, we will try again. But when we solve this problem one day ago, both we got quite serious frostbites, and it was clear that we couldn't continue next day. And, Marian lost these few fingers. Even my legs doesn't looks nice, né? But this kind of frostbites wasn't so bad than Marian's. I just lost my nails, some flesh, but bones stay okay, né? And this is not absolutely not painful, because everything is frozen. But my legs recovered later on very good. After a few months, even nails started growing back. And when I said to my friends from expedition, it's perfect, I'll be practically everything's fine, nails growing and so on. They look at me with some kind of compassion, and I said, "What's wrong?" Ne? He said, "You don't know what I don't know." Ne? Lower developed creatures got better chance to recover their organs. Ne? This is some kind of let's say style of talking in this expedition because. Of course, we work quite serious and difficult and even dangerous job. And if you think all the time to this is not good. Ne? And we use many times this kind so-called rough humor. Ne? And if you are uh, good in this, you could be perfect member of the expedition. No? Anyway, 3 days later, Nate Zaplotnik, which you could see on the picture, and Andrei Stremfer reached the summit of Everest. And of course, everything got a sense. With all our efforts, we was extremely, extremely glad. And 2 days later, another 3 guys we put on the summit. This was Stane Belak, the Sherpa leader Ang Pu, and Croatian climber Stipe Božić, who was later on my fellow teammate in many, many other expeditions to Everest. And that time, we even didn't know what we achieved. But later, history show what's going on Everest with our climb. Today, lead to the highest mountain in the world, 16 new routes all around. But by opinion of real experience, including, let's say, Reinhold Messner, everybody agreed that Yugoslav route at that time across West Ridge is probably the hardest route to the top of the world. And this, after this 40 and more years, it's quite a good feeling, I must say. Of course, it will be nice at that time if I reach the summit. But I know that success in Himalaya means if you have, let's say, on every second expedition you reach the summit, this is quite a good result. For me, was important that I wasn't feel so down if I'm not successful. And again, if I was, I wasn't so euphoric. And I hope that probably in next years, probably I got another chance for Everest, and this is happened 10 years later when I was invited to Macedonian expedition to Everest. At that time, what was in Nepal a little bit more modern, we could fly a part of approach march with half an hour flight to high airport Lukla in altitude around 2,800, like our Triglav. You could spare 12 days of walk. And from there, even we need 6 days walk to base camp, what was important for our acclimatization. And after arrival, of course, we immediately start climb, not now West Ridge, but the normal route which they climb Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norway in 1953. In between, we got an idea with Stipe Božić that we climb not only Everest, but neighbor mountain Lhotse, which is the fourth highest mountain in the world. And after 15 days of acclimatization and work on the mountains, I successfully reached Lhotse. After few days of recovering, together with Stipe and Macedonian climber Dime Ilievski and two Sherpas, Sonam and Ajiva, we would like to reach Everest also. On May 9, 1989, we reached South Col. You could see down there a few tents. This is a saddle on altitude of 8,000 meters. Up to there it's Lhotse, and this way it's Everest. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, we start climb to the summit of Everest. We had quite difficult condition here, tricky climb in rocks, loose rocks, very loose. And then on the other side, on China side, we got a lot of snow. Now we expect that we will reach the summit around at least to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we just reached fourth summit. From here, it's not so far to the main summit, around 100 altitude meters, some difficult Hillary step. You must also climb, it's around 12, 13 meters. And here in the fourth summit, I got some problems with my oxygen mask. My oxygen was finished, and I must wait a little bit that body accept this situation. And after that, I slowly continue step by step by my friends. I climb Hillary step without oxygen, and on the fields above them, I met friends who already come from the summit. It means that it's not so far. They said to me, maybe it's better that we go together back because night coming, and I was appreciate this. There's wish for my safety, but at that time I don't want to stop. I continue on in May 10 of 7:30 in the afternoon. I reach the highest point for which we poetically said that this is the highest point of Earth, if you in all universe. I must say that I didn't feel any let's say euphoric feelings. The best thing was that it's not necessary more to go up. But immediately was another question how I could come down. This is very important. And it's true that I climbed all night, 7 or 8 hours descent. When I reach 4 o'clock in the morning next day, Camp 5 on South Saddle, I see that of 5 climbers who reached the summit, it's mean Dime, Stipe, me, Sonam, and Ajiva, just 4 of us coming safe down. Dime Ilievski on this way down, I said probably escape to life back. He made one small mistake and he lost forever. Probably they go to the China side or fell down to Nepali side, or he just sits somewhere, wish to recover, but this low altitude, around 40 and less degrees Celsius below zero, makes him that he never come back from the mountain. Across few days, we made this picture in base camp, and on the pictures we are not the guys who reached the summit of Everest, but the guys who also safe reached down base camp. for Himalayas, we couldn't make anything else than this kind of memorial stone. And I must say that today, below Everest, it's around 340 memorial stones like this one, who remember for people who die on the highest mountains in the world. The first reason is that last few years it's very popular to be to climb Everest. Ne? It means that a lot of people try. But another thing is that the highest mountain in the world are most beautiful, most attractive, most important for, let's say, mountain lovers, but they are very dangerous. This is absolutely true. As I said in the beginning, we always wish to make something new on these mountains because this is important or recognizable. And I got my meetings with Everest for the third time also. This was 1996 when we wished to make first ski descent from the summit. One of the best extreme skier at that time, Davo Karničar, asked me that I could prepare the expedition for him to Everest. Of course, I accept this leadership. We went to Nepal. We make perfect acclimatization, and on the way back to Kathmandu, uh, because our idea was that after acclimatization, we start from China side to climb Everest. In the Gyangboche Monastery, we met uh, Sir Edmund Hillary, the first guy who reached the summit of Everest. And this meeting was for me extraordinarily important because I see my idol in a real life. We looked together this monastery, which was destroyed because of fire a few years earlier, and now they make it new. It was perfect be with this kind of legend together, and especially with their staff. We make a deal that in Kathmandu a few days later we could get audience with Hillary. And at that time, you must know that Hillary was a real global star, like, let's say, extremely positive politician and let's say sportsman in one person. I was glad that we arrived there. I remember that their staff said you got 20 minutes to talk with him, and when we sit in this place, we start talking. I was totally surprised because I recognize that Mr. Hillary is our guy, but it means kind, polite. He was really interested about what can we do on Everest. He know that we are expedition, and I'm got a little bit problem. I said we would like to ski down there when you climb up. And of course, it could be jealous or angry, but he was extremely glad. He said, "Guys, this is the right thing, not commercial expedition, which at that time start new things and adventure. This is a really count. If I'll be 40 years younger, I'll go with you." And this was quite big moral support for all of us. We went to Tibet side, good acclimatization. With good acclimatization, we start climb Everest. We was very quick, relatively quick, reach the altitude around 8,000 meters. This is Dao Karničar, our skier. But in the May 10, when we wish to establish Camp 3, and the next day, Davo will try to go to the summit and start with ski descent. We catch the worst, let's say, storm on Everest, in which died 12 people from different expedition. This is well known story in worldwide, I could say. Jon Krakauer make a book uh, about this story. Americans made playing documentary about that. Now, it was also the part of this story, I must say, when Davo wait in this central gully on altitude of 8,200 meters, that Sherpas bring him some equipment for putting the camp tree, but they couldn't reach him because of strong wind. After some wait, Davo started to descend. When he arrived to base camp, he saw that got very serious frostbites in fingers, and we must cancel the expedition. We was very sad. We arrived back in Kathmandu, and still in Kathmandu, we know what's going on the mountains all these 20, all these other days that 12 people die. And we start about, I said, climbing, thinking, we come out of this things not so bad, just with few frostbites, and we looked at Davo's fingers and said, but this is not something special. You cut this one a little bit, this one, maybe this one also, but this is not a big problem. You could recover very quick, and after that you could try once again. And he really did it. 4 years later, Dao Karničar climbed Everest and make first integral ski descent to Nepali side. What it means that we have Slovenians, we have some kind of ski Hillary of Everest. What was important of this my meetings with Himalayas, that I met practically all the best climbers in the world. First, our idols, which are older, and then after that, my generation. I suppose that it's not necessary to introduce this guy on the left side on the screen. This is Reinhold Messner, probably the most important Himalayan climber ever, with which we start cooperating in 80s. And now this cooperation is every year is stronger and stronger. This is one of his first visit in Ljubljana, in at my home, and on my right side is Stipe Božič, as I already mentioned, Himalayan co-climber. Messner is, I said, really big person, not only like a climber, but they produced many interesting things. We worked together with changing information about the mountains, with making books, films, and so on. The last few years, I bring him some equipment of Slovenian top climbers, which they wish to put to their museum in Dolomites. He got right now, I think, around 7, and altogether they establish absolutely the biggest or the biggest mountain museum in the world. They respect Slovenian climbers a lot, and of course, if this kind of person said that Slovenians are very good in all ways of climbing, this is important for all of us. I could say that probably we start to be a real friend. We got one interesting action together, which is not connected with climbing, but we play in one theater play together. Of course, he couldn't come every evening to Novo Mesto where we play this play, but he was invited to play with by kako se temu reče, by Viber, no? They come to every evening, and this play was very successful, and one very rare thing, no? that we play in some classic cultural place like theater. No, anyway, I'm not mad to Himalayas. I like nature more or less untouched nature, whatever is. It's not necessary that these are mountains. They could be forests, they could be rivers, they could be seas, and or deserts. But the most, or maybe very, very nice and interesting places are polar areas. What it means, Arctic and Antarctica. And at the end of the uh, millennium, around 2000, I uh, went also to the North Pole with skis. Of course, we walk by sea. Excellent experience, especially because for the first time I saw what it means. All daylight stay there for half year, and the night is there also for half year. If you travel to Arctic or Antarctic, it's better that you go there when it's day, not night, because night is very, very long and much more cold. Interesting place, interesting area, and very probably the most interesting point in the Earth. When you reach the South Pole, let's say these parts uh, of Earth, uh, uh, there's no more, let's say, north. There are no more east. There are no more west. Every step when you put from the south, from the North Pole, is way to the south. Much more interesting, let's say, for climbers, is is Antarctica, but it's a continent bigger than Europe, and they got its own. Highest mountain, which is higher than Mont Blanc, let's say. It's Mount Vinson is about uh, a little less than 5,000-meter high mountain. And I like one nice project which come out in, let's say, latest 70s, that world climbers got idea that it would be nice to reach all the highest mountains in all continents. What it means, 7 continents, 7 summits. I climbed between these hard Himalayan climbs all 6, let's say, well-known continents: South America, North America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. But I must wait a few years that I got a chance to go to Antarctica also, just because it's not so difficult, but it's very, very expensive. Anyway, we climbed at the time to again a new route in south face of Mount Vinson, 2,000-meter high, and make carrying skis on the summit and the ski to the other side down. It means that I make traverse of all the mountains. This was, I think, January 5, 1997, when I finished this story about the 7 summits here in Antarctica, the highest peak. This ski down was again amazing journey. I enjoy very much, and it was interesting that on this expedition, we stay 17 days in Antarctica. Was one of the warmest expedition in my life. Even the temperature didn't come up more than minus 25 degrees Celsius. But the point was that these mountains are, if we compare these mountains with Himalayas, are not so big. They got enough oxygen still in the air, and the oxygen is the key point of your, let's say, warmth, and especially about the frostbite. If you got enough oxygen, there's no problem. It was funny that, of course, there was many expedition around the world. We climbed Vinson very quickly. And when we must wait to transportation back together with other expedition, we have 6 or 7 days time to discover the other areas around the Vinson, and we climbed, I think, 5 or 6 another peaks unclimbed and unnamed, and we got a right like first conquerors that we put the names of these mountains. Now, of course, one was Slovenia, one was Croatia, because my friend Stipe was also there. But for all the others, we choose the names which we try to say thanks to our sponsors who help us, that we come to Antarctica. Until today, I remember that one of these peaks in Antarctica desert got a name, Chemoservice Photomaterial. Antarctica is amazing and practically ideal place for people who love untouched areas. They are very less in all world, and probably Antarctica is the last border. And this is much more important that we must take care and make everything like this, because I'm 100% sure that people need wild places for their personal growth. This is some kind of intermezzo. We went back to Himalayas. If I wish to talk all my stories from Himalayas, we need much more time, because I visit this area just in Nepal more than 60 times, plus 8 times Tibet, plus 4 times Pakistan area of Himalayas, and so on. But I just try to remember a few very important things which they touch me very much. One of them is this beautiful mountain called Manaslu. It's the 8th highest mountain in the world. In '83, we wished to climb new route in this south face. We was quite good. And we reached the altitude more than 7,000 meters when came one big avalanche. It happened horrible tragedy, and 2 members of our expedition died in this avalanche. I saw the accident, ran to the place where we saw the 2 guys last time. By coincidence, we found one of them. This was Nedza Plotnik, the most important Slovenian Himalayan climber, who was dead. Croatian climber Ante Buchan still lying in the towns of ice below the mountains, with carrying nets to the edge of glacier, and put him there in his grave. Expedition was, of course, cancelled. We went back, but anyway, we still thinking about Manaslu, not because of us, and because of 2 our friends who died there. And next year, we come back again. Stipe and I climbed Manaslu by alpine style, what is new, a little bit more dangerous style, but we reached the summit at that time. We stayed there for Nates, for Ante, for guys from both expeditions who tried to do the best that we was successful. And probably, by my opinion, maybe this is one of the, even maybe the best my climb in Himalayas. After that, I must not only go to Himalayas, but I must be a leader of the expedition. Leader of the expedition is not so nice as they heard, because it means 3 times more work, 3 times more responsibilities, and your climbing ideas must be a little bit putting down because of friends and nature of your work. But anyway, my first expedition as a leader, we went in 1986 to Pakistani part of Himalaya. And the first time in Slovenian history, we tried to climb 2 8,000ers on one expedition. And we were successful. We climbed Broad Peak and also Gasherbrum 2. The reason was that we tried to do something new, but another reason was that for us, we got the feeling that preparing expedition it's much harder than climbing to the summit at the time, because we are not managers, but everything we work alone. And we said, okay, we must put so many effort to prepare the expedition. It's better that we climb two mountains, not only one, because we wish to avoid another preparation of the expedition. One another expedition in '88 was also very significant for me. For the first time, we went to Himalayas from north. It means from Tibet, which who was a long time closed for foreigners because of China occupation. But after 1980, they opened the mountains from north side. We climbed perfectly new route on in Choyu north face. This Choyu is the sixth highest mountains in the world. So nice climb that Reinhold Meister put this climb between 30 the best climbs in big walls in Himalayas in last century. This is the summit of Choyo. For the first time in my life, and probably the last, I make selfie. I didn't know what's going on, what this is. But my friend was a little bit slower, and when I reach the summit, it's usual that you make picture around and yourself also. Choyo is the only 8,000er on which summit I reached twice, in 1988 and again 2001, because we have another idea also that we try to make a ski descent from one of these highest peaks. Uh, but think about this wish probably more than 20 years. And when I was on practically 50, this wish come true. I'll be very glad, and I'm sure that if you wish something and you work to this, and if you are patient, you got a big chance to come through. I'm extremely love skiing, and I'm always very sad when the slope when I skiing go to the end. On this occasion, when you're skiing on altitude of more than 8,000 meters, I wish that ski slope will be as short as possible, because lack of oxygen means that only you make three moves and you must rest. Just my suggestion, if you wish to enjoy skiing, it's better that you ski, let's say, in our mountains or Dolomites. This is really hard. Some other small interesting things from other expedition. Let's say in 91 we climbed south face of Lhotse, more than 3 kilometers high face, in which was 64 days. Yeah, we climb in this face, and we have 59 days of bad weather. I don't remember on not even that 5 nights, and of course because of bad weather, avalanches falling down left, right across us, and we must stop our expedition 250 meters below the summit. It means we was very strong, very experienced, but nature show us that nature is absolutely stronger, and we respect this. One another perfect climb, 1998, when we climbed in alpine style, also Shishapangma. This is the only 8,000er in Tibet, surrounded by China territory. Again, two very nice new route in this perfect phase. And as I said, between 1975 and 95, Slovenians, we climb all 14 the highest peaks in Himalaya, like a ninth nation. This is nice achievement, but more or less statistic data. For climbers, it's important in what way you make this, what kind of way you make these mountains. And here are Slovenians are a little bit outstanding, let's say, from the others, because on generally of all these the highest mountains, we make a new routes. We climb in alpine style or made something like nobody else before us. Like let's say Karničar brothers, when like first in the world they make a ski descent from the summit of Annapurna. Uh, of course, a lot of interesting climbs, a lot of interesting adventures. But at the end, when we finished this story with Climb Annapurna in 1995, we didn't stop. The absolutely the biggest project of Slovenian climbs was finished, but we always found some new challenges there. And maybe one of the biggest success in my climbing career was rescue operation of this guy on the picture. This is Mr. Tomaž Humar. In between two millenniums, was one of the best Slovenian climber, and this mean automatically one of the best in the world also. He wished to climb south face of Pakistani 8000 Nanga Parbat alone. What it's again mean step of limits for all world a little bit higher. He start climbing. 2 days climb perfect, but the bad weather catch him on the altitude around 6,300. He was not injured, but because of bad weather and falling snow, all face start to be one avalanche. He couldn't move, not left, not right, not down, not up. He wait one day, and after that he called base camp, and by base camp they made connection to Ljubljana to me, and he asked me for help. Uh, I was sure that, let's say, classic rescue operation is not possible because all rescuers will die in this avalanche also. The only chance is that he put him from helicopter out. And at the end, we saw, I start coordinate this rescue operation, and we need 6 days, just because we must push our politicians also, because they must ask Pakistani authorities they try to do the best. And in these 6 days, when Tomaž across his legs, looking down to the face, to the valley, what's going on, I make this, I coordinate this action by phone, of course, with Pakistani generals and so on and so on. And I know that it was only 1% chance that we will be success. But at the end, after 6 days of this coordinating operation, Pakistani pilots Rashidullah Beg and Khalid Amir Rana put him out of the face. This was the beginning of internet also, and the whole world they check what's going on the mountains. He was, of course, extremely happy when he reached base camp with the friends who waiting there. He was extremely glad, and they said thank you to pilots. And I was also, even I coordinate this action. I was so surprised, and I said I must go to the Bernic airport when he will be back, and we make some hug on the airport. And as I said, this is probably one of the best things in my climbing career, which I made in the mountains, even that I stay in my house. It was nice that Tomaž never forget what we do for him, and 2 years later, he invited both pilots to Slovenia, and at that time, President Drnovšek gave him, Slovenian President Drnovšek gave him the biggest award for this humanitarian act. We was all there. It was quite nice, and especially was nice when Rashid, who stayed between Tomaž and President Drnovšek, say thank you in a very, very special way. He went to the microphone and he said, no, you know that we Muslims are very famous about the suicide terroristic actions, né? But sometimes we go to some suicide action for to wish to save human life. Né? It was a quite nice story, and we are still friends, I must say. No? Of course, years passed, and I was a little bit surprised that I'm not still the youngest member of the expedition, like on Makarno 75, and I start to be the oldest one. But I found in Nepal, of course, a lot of interesting goals, a little bit lower, and again, I wish to discover these areas. I wish to make some kind of a crossing of Nepal from east to west, from uh, north to south. I wish to connect all these my ways from before, and I wish make some kind of cross across Nepal. And this was perfect idea. Every year since 2012, I went down to make some part of this cross. This was the same in 2015 when I wished to cross with few friends this area of Ganesh Himal on the border of Tibet. We start in village Dunche, around 2,000-meter high. Uh, our jeep with equipment went to the next village, where next day we must start our traverse. But when we walk out of the village, I saw these two girls, how they make some flower guirlands, and said this will be one of the nicest travel in Nepal in my life. But of course, Nepal is full of surprises. Ne? Just few minutes after this picture, horrible earthquake with magnitude 7.8 catch this part of Nepal and make horrible damage. Ne? This is my friend, and I don't want to show the picture because of his injury, but the road down behind him, now you could see, ne? There was horrible destruction. But with big luck, we saved our lives, but we was totally without any equipment. And next day, we must risk this difficult way to the other village. We found that our jeep with equipment, sleeping bags, and food, and we start descent, of course, to the Indian plateau. Uh, we walked 4 days back, and this was probably the worstest day in my life in Nepal. Some on this way, quite bizarre. You could see the traffic sign, stone falling, and you could see that this is really true in Nepal. Uh, but what we saw on this 4 days walk down was really horrible, and I promised myself that if we if we escape from this, we will try to help to these people, and we really make this escape safe. And few months later, I coming back to Nepal with a help which I collect in Slovenia, and I give this help directly to these people, and they accept this with such thankful, with a grace and respect, that I this was the reason that I got feeling that I must continue with this story. And just within few days, in May 20, I made this year, I made my 19th trip back to Nepal after earthquake. And every time I collect this, in between, I collect this help with lectures, with selling my books, and all what we collect, I put to Nepal for this help. Not only for earthquake problems, but also I opened some new project, especially for we try to make uh, uh, education for our friends Sherpas who died on our expedition, and we were very successful. Not only their son and daughters, and now we have two grandsons also, né? And daughters. It means that I had another reason that I regularly travel to Nepal at least once per year. No, uh, after that idea about the cross of Nepal, I made to the end in 2029. I really crossed Nepal by walk and climb from east to west, from south to north. And I need for this story around 46 days and 46 years and 2 days. In 10th of October, I reached 1975. I reached the summit of Makalu, what was the northest point of my cross, and 12 October 12th, 2029. At 21, I reached the last, the most western part, which I choose. I must say that this was probably the most personal story about the Himalaya. It was also a book. I read a book about this cross across Nepal. I'm glad that it's already sold. And of course, I think that I will walk to Nepal so many years again. I'm still young. It's a joke, but anyway, I must say that I learn in Himalaya much more, or the Himalaya was the most important teacher in my life. And I'm very appreciate that I got a chance to see all this beauty, and as I said, especially because I learn a lot in the mountains. Now, this is my cross across Nepal, as I talked earlier. Uh, I haven't any pressure to do something more there, but I'm really enjoy to go and to be with these people, with this mountain. And the biggest joy is when I saw or I look the mountains up, and the happiest thing is that it's not necessary to me more to climb up. I'm just sit down, enjoy, and remember these beautiful days. Uh, I was really surprised when Reinhold Messner decided that because he know my work in alpinism, wished to put me to his very well-known table in one of his museum named Rock and Ice Stars, and he put there some names of very for him very important person of traditional mountain climbing. Not only this time, but they start with the names of let's say from between two world war. On this table, he put the names like Anderl Heckmeyer, who first climbed North Face of Eiger, and then from different countries around the world, real climbing legend like, let's say, in Italy, Riccardo Cassin, Walter Bonatti, and then the best American, British, German, Austrian, Swiss, Italian, of course, climbers. And every year he put one name or two there. And this, when he opened this museum in 2006, till today, on this table are 30 names. And 1923, I was quite surprised when I visited him, and he said, "You must see the tables." And I said, "I know the table." And then, but looking more carefully and before the last one down, Now it's the title Victor. Of course, this is me, Viki Grošelj. And this was a really nice surprise and very touching moment for me, because on this table I saw the names which was my idols. Let's say, I said before, Cassin, Bonatti, and many others. And now I'm a part of this story. Like first Slovenian, I hope that will be in future some other guy from Slovenia come to this important, let's say, list. And of course, at the time, journalists ask me something about that, what I think, and I said, of course, I'm glad, but I want to say that this is my uh, own work. This is, let's say, uh, kako se reče, poklon.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a gift for all Slovenian climbers, because without them I couldn't be couldn't reach such a high level. And of course, I said that very important in my life is love, compassion, and the humor also. And I said it's one very important thing also. And the journalist asked what. After a long time, I'm again the youngest member in one list, because my fellow friends, the Polish climber Wojtek Kurtika, who is a little bit, who is second, the youngest is 5 years older than me. This is quite a nice thing. As I said, in these years, I write a lot, more and more books. I have more and more time because I'm retired almost 9 years. Especially, I'm glad, let's say, for this book, which come out in 1923. Reinhold Messner was so kind that he write 4 awards for this. And as I said, with this selling these books, I collect, as I said, this money for help to my people, let's say my people, Nepali people. Nepal give me a lot, I must say, and I try to give him back a little bit. And this is the point in which I like to do, in which I enjoy. And at the end, this is the last picture of my lecture. I wish to say kindly thank you for Ema and all people who give me a chance that I tell this my story and spread around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Um, we have already some questions, but also to the other participants, you can write them in the chat. You can also speak up and ask them yourself. I have two questions. One was quite a way back. Let me find it from Nevenka. She was asking about maybe your health or preparations in terms of this being challenging expeditions physically. So what was the preparation? And also if you feel all those adventures today on your head or body.
Yeah, it's interesting. I must say that we haven't any special preparation. We was all the time in moving with mountain climbing. What it means that all the time, even if it's expedition or not, we must put our preparing level quite high. When I know that expedition come, it was interesting that that preparation fall down just because we have a lot of work with organization. We must visit uh, people in factories about the help, we must packing and so on. But anyway, we live this life, and the best preparation for climbing on expedition is usually approach march, because at the time everything is going all okay. We couldn't do anything. Now we just walk to the bottom of our goal. And this time, you start to slowly to prepare for climbing. For us, it's also not important that we are, let's say, on the same day, on the same minute or second that we are the best. We have a lot of time to do this, and it's very difficult to, let's say, make uh, preparation exactly for one day. But this is specific for us. Sorry, for next question, you must repeat me.
It was about if you feel the consequences of all those dangerous expeditions now.
No, I must say that, of course, I move a little bit slower, but my mind is totally open, even of all these tragedies, which I witnessed. Let's say on my expedition died seven of my friends. Without them, we coming back to Slovenia, and of course, this was for us the end of the world, especially if you are witnessing, you see the accident. This is horrible, but at that time you got only two choices. If you are wish to start to be crazy or some other way, and of course we this painful which we feel, we uh, made or put to some nice remembering for these people. And this is the right way. I'm very glad that, let's say, Nate Zaplotnik and some other guys are still alive just because of these stories. When we write books, we can make these presentations. Even now, today, we talk about my friends, and this is the nicest way to remember these perfect guys.
Thank you for this answer. I do have a question of my own. Mm, did you change in all those years your view of nature? Because I guess in sustainability education, and if we try to like connect these two topics, a lot of the time when I work with it, I meet this theme of nature and how we should be toward nature and what is nature, etc. So just speak a little bit about this and if you changed your mind over the years and your experience.
Thank you. A very nice question. But you must remember, Emma, you're very young. In this, in our times, it was very rare visitors of these remote areas, like in our mountains, like in especially in Himalaya. And if we found on our way to the bottom of the face, to the bottom of the mountains, or on the mountains, if we found somewhere some garbage, this was very good for us because we know that we are on the right way. Uh, Now, much more people come to let's say Himalayas, especially to Everest, and of course this garbage start to be an extreme problem, just because of so many people coming there. And I said that I think not that Nepali authorities, they try to do the best to like, manage with these things, but this is not the problem only for Nepal. All around the world we have the same problem, but it's in Western more developed countries. It's much nicer that we talk about garbage on Everest than garbage in their own country. Let's say even Slovenia is the same. Let's say it's in Karnacel, there's problem. We better talk about Everest. It is a problem, but one positive thing, by my opinion, is that people who went there to Himalayas, climbers or trekkers, doesn't matter, are relatively high educated about the preserved nature. And this is one big plus. But physically, it is a problem. If 10 people come to the place or 10,000, this is quite big difference. I know that especially they know that this is a problem. Let's say Nepali people below the Everest, but it's theoretically managing this garbage is a problem. They're carrying down to that fields. Let's say they really very well organized. They're one of the best works now in villages below Everest. It's a so-called sheet driver. What it means that Sherpas with their yaks come to base camp. We put, let's say, uh, personal liquors, so on, to the drums. They packed and carrying down to their fields. It means that in one way they take care, but the problems are really, let's say, emballage, the garbage place, because it's difficult to drive anywhere. They must carry, and as I heard last time, one valley to the face to the bottom of the Everest now is a trail where they take care about, but the next behind the ridge is one valley for garbage. These are big problems everywhere in the world, but I'm optimist. Now I think that if our people are responsible, uh, it's they could go everywhere, and everywhere is some place for people. But we must take care that our steps are that we take bring back all what we carry there. Anyway, I'm still optimist.
Thank you for that answer. You also said people need wild places for
Yeah,
personal growth. Um,
absolutely.
and I know that you spent also some time as a teacher. So if you can share in what ways did you try to offer maybe this to your students if
Yeah.
you had some opportunities?
Yeah, I teach all my life in primary school, and like a teacher of sport, and it was very important for me that I put the children close to the nature. And that's why I make some specially schools in nature. In every year, children must go to one of them. It's in, let's say, for 1 week, or skiing, or researching, or I don't know what else. And I wish to tell them that nature is one of the best things in my life. And if you made a contact with nature, you'll never be boring in your life. It doesn't matter. This is this sport, like I don't know, dancing or climbing or whatever. But for me, I prefer sports, no, which are connecting with nature. Uh, and of course, nature teach us a lot, what is very, very important. And that's why I said that we need wild places, because if we make everything adrenaline parks from the nature, this is absolutely no good for all of us. And again, I prefer uh, uh, wild areas. I talk about Antarctica. There is some place still, but it's very, very expensive to travel there, and it's better that we try to make these areas, parks, with as possible untouched nature in every country. I'm a big fan of this because I look for all these things by myself. I already tell that in mountains, the mountains was the best school for my life. We must preserve them.
Thank you. Um, I I do still have things to ask, but I want to also check if there is anyone else who wanted to say something. No? Okay, you can also write and I will see it. But you spoke about the Nepalese, also the people. So
Mhm.
in a way, they are probably also your people. as I was listening to you, it seemed to me that way. And in previous lectures, we did have a few short discussions. For example, when Jan and Cecilia from Norway were here, we were speaking about the Sami people, so the indigenous people of the Arctic, and
Yeah.
how maybe their lifestyle is different than this modern sports lifestyle in Norway. And I guess this is also a very um, good questions for Nepal because it has a lot of people coming in, but there's people, indigenous people living there. And yeah, what's the relationship, their relationship to this big wave of mountaineers and tourists coming
Mhm.
in? And yeah, to speak a bit more
Uh,
about
yeah,
this.
yeah, sure. Let's say generally for people who lives in the remote areas, is this kind of friendship extremely important because without this they couldn't survive. Ne? And that's why we are so surprised when we come, let's say, as I said, I also know the Arctic areas, there's other remote areas, not only Himalayas. Ne? People are curious and people are gentle because they expect if they try to help us, when he needs our help from in some other areas, they also help. Now, this is some kind of uh, primary cooperation between people. And of course, in this way of life which we live here, is so-called look less important, but it's not true. And I must say, especially the Nepalese are in general, they try to help you. They are kind. They when you see you, they said namaste. What it mean? Uh, you are welcome. God is with you. May I help you, and so on. And I'm totally, let's say, soft when I met this kind of people. I respect this, and I just hope it is a one problem, I must say, because as you already mentioned, many people come, and not only people come, but there's this is some kind of influence to their life. I hope that these people will stay like before, and they didn't disturb this idea of their life. But in the second way, of course, I'm extremely glad that conditions for life down there start to be better. It's very much more roads are there, much more airstrips in a high altitude, much more helicopters. This traffic is now much easier, and this is also good for them. We couldn't say you must take like this, and we come to you. I'm. It's very teeny thing and very tricky to lead in the right way. But once again, I'm optimist. In one way, I'm very glad that people standard in the valleys below Everest grow, or in some other places. But the key point is, as I said, we must take care about the nature. We must uh, take care about remote areas because we could go there and teach something for ourselves.
Mhm. Thank you. I love this answer. I'm checking if there's something we didn't answer because this is, I think, everything. Oh, yeah, there was when you were talking about the list of stars.
Yes.
There is a question. I wonder what traditional mountain climbing means. In which sense traditional? So
Uh,
maybe a technical question.
no, it's perfect. That this is the traditional climbing mean a little bit more than classic. What it mean? This is idea of Reinhold Messner. What it mean that we don't use uh, new equipment with which we could climb, let's say, easier and so on. It means that you that you try to do for traditional climbing. It's important what climber could do with the mountains, né? Not what how many help they could bring to the mountain that they do. Theoretically, né? Ideal of traditional climbing is that you climb with minimum equipment and alone, let's say, to the mountain. Not traditional means that you got enormous support. At the end, let's say, technique in the world is now they could make this is driving steps to the summit of Everest, if anybody wish. But traditional means that you simply said that you try to push your abilities so up that you are same level with challenge which mountains give it to you. Not that you prepare the mountains to your level. This is totally wrong.
That's a good analogy. Okay. Thank you so much. I think this was all questions.